What if I told you that 1,000 years ago, a city in the American heartland was more populous than London was at the time? And what if I told you about another, a city of stone carved into sheer cliffs, a fortress in the sky? Both were home to brilliant, complex civilizations. And then they were gone. They vanished, but not before leaving behind a chilling warning etched in bone and stone. For decades, we've been haunted by one question. Why now? Archaeologists are decoding their final messages, and it's a story that feels eerily relevant today. Long before European ships ever dreamed of American shores, a sprawling city stood near modern-day St. Louis. This was Cahokia, the largest and most sophisticated civilization north of Mexico. At its peak around 1100 AD, it was a thriving metropolis of tens of thousands of people. Its builders were master engineers, moving millions of cubic feet of earth by hand. Not with machines, but with baskets, to build over 120 massive mounds that completely reshaped the world around them. At the city's core stood Monk's Mound, a colossal structure standing 100 feet tall, about the height of a 10-story building. Its base is so vast it covers more ground than the Great Pyramid of Giza. From the top, a powerful chief would have looked down on a grand plaza where thousands gathered for rituals, markets, and games. Cahokia was a beacon of culture, the center of a trade network that crisscrossed the continent. It seemed destined to last forever, but it was completely abandoned by 1350 AD, hundreds of miles southwest. In what is now Colorado, another remarkable society was flourishing. The ancestral Pueblo people, who were once called the Anasazi, were master architects, creating some of North America's most breathtaking structures for centuries. They had farmed the tops of the mesas, but around the late 1100s, they began moving into incredible cliff dwellings tucked into natural alcoves in the rock. And these weren't just caves. We're talking intricate stone villages, some with over 150 rooms, complete with plazas and sacred kivas. Places like Cliff Palace are marvels of defensive design, reachable only by hand and to hold. Trails cut straight into the cliff face. Life there seemed secure, orderly, impenetrable. It looked like the perfect refuge. So why, by the year 1300, was every single one of these spectacular homes empty? The first clue to this mystery isn't in what the people left behind, but in the land itself. Scientists can read the past in tree rings and ancient mud, and the story they tell is grim. Around the time Mesa Verde was abandoned, the Southwest was in the grips of a mega drought that lasted for decades. Rains failed, crops withered, and the resources that had sustained them for centuries disappeared. At Cahokia, the story was also about water, but way too much of it. Evidence from lake beds shows that major floods hit the region, likely wiping out the vast fields of maize that fed the city. While there's debate about the exact causes, the evidence for severe climate-related stress at both sites is undeniable. For societies that depended completely on agriculture, this environmental instability was the first sign that their world was starting to break. But it wasn't the last. As the environment turned hostile, the archaeological record shows a new, dark development: fear. At Cahokia, the people built a massive defensive palisade around the city's core. This was no garden fence. It was a wall nearly 2 miles long, built and rebuilt multiple times using tens of thousands of logs. The message was unmistakable. The people of Cahokia were afraid of an enemy, whether the threat was from outsiders desperate for food or from violent conflict within the city. That wall was a monument to a society under siege. You see the same story of fear in the cliffs of Mesa Verde. By moving into these fortress-like dwellings, the ancestral Puebloans were clearly trying to protect themselves from something. These are not the actions of a peaceful, secure society. They're the actions of people bracing for conflict. But the final warning is by far the most chilling, because this one is written in bone. At Cahokia, just south of Monk's Mound, archaeologists uncovered a burial site known as Mound 72. It contained the remains of more than 270 people. Many of them were young women who appear to have been victims of large-scale ritual sacrifice. In one pit, dozens of men and women were found who had been violently killed. In the Mesa Verde region, the evidence is just as grim. One study of skeletons from the late 1100s found that an astonishing number, nearly 9 out of 10, showed signs of violent trauma to the head or arms. At sites like Castle Rock Pueblo and Sand Canyon Pueblo, archaeologists have found the unburied bodies of people who were killed in massacres. There are even harrowing hints of cannibalism, backed by biochemical evidence. This wasn't just war. It was a desperate, brutal end. So what happened? It wasn't one single thing. It was a perfect storm of catastrophic domino effect. Environmental collapse led to a shortage of resources. That scarcity fueled social tension, political breakdown, and horrifying violence. This internal chaos, likely combined with external threats, shattered their societies from within. The people lost faith in their leaders and their traditions. In the end, they just walked away, leaving their great cities to the silence. The ruins of Cahokia and Mesa Verde are more than a historical mystery. They are a warning, echoing across the centuries. They show us that any society, no matter how sophisticated, is fragile. They prove that a combination of environmental crisis and social division can lead to a swift and total collapse. Their story, etched in the earth and in bone, forces us to ask a difficult question. Are we listening? What do you think was the final straw that broke these civilizations? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to keep diving into the greatest mysteries of the past, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell.